purpose of this session is I thought I will make a video on abstract class, because when we discussed about abstract classes, the recording was not proper. So let me make a video out of it and let me share it with you. So let us start with the definition of an abstract class. Fine. What is an abstract class? An abstract class is one which contains at least one abstract method. The abstract class is a class which contains at least one abstract method. And what is an abstract method? An abstract method is a method which contains method declaration but without definition. That is a method which is only declared but it is not defined. It means the method will not have a method body. This is called as declaration and this is called as definition. So abstract methods are just declared. They will not be defined. This is an example for that. And for an abstract class, you cannot create an object. No object can be instantiated for an abstract class. But what you can do is you can create a reference. Let us assume car is an abstract class. Then for the class car, you can create a reference C. But you cannot create an object for car. Because the rule says that for an abstract class, you cannot create an object, you can only create a reference. All abstract classes should proceed with the keyword abstract. That is, an abstract class should start with the keyword abstract. Okay. Similarly, an abstract method also should start with the keyword abstract. The abstract methods that are defined in the abstract classes should be, the abstract methods that are declared in the abstract classes should be defined in the subclasses. If it is not defined, then the subclass will also become abstract. The abstract method should be defined in the subclass. Otherwise, the subclass also will become abstract. Okay. So with this understanding, let us discuss some program on abstract class. Let me show you a simple case. Okay. So now let us create an abstract class of something of this kind. So we'll be creating a class called chord. We'll be creating a class called chord, and this class chord will be an abstract class. And this class chord will be an abstract class. And what the class chord holds in the sense, it will hold some member variables and also it may hold some abstract method. And this class will have three subclasses: Valentine, holiday, and birthday. And these three subclasses will redefine this abstract class which is declared in the class chord. And then we will see how it will be utilized. Okay. So this is the syntax for creating an abstract class. Abstract class, class name, and then open bracket, then declare all the variables, all the methods, and here at least one method should be abstract, because that is what the definition of abstract class says. Abstract class should have at least one abstract method. Abstract class is never instantiated. That is, you cannot create an object for an abstract class, but you can create a reference. Okay. Now we will provide one abstract method here. Let us say the name of the abstract method is greeting. Okay. So card. Okay. So we'll have an abstract class card. The name of the abstract class is card. Abstract class card, and it has a string variable recipient, and it has an abstract method greeting, public abstract void greeting. So this is an abstract class. So you cannot create object for this class. Now where this greeting method should be redefined? It should be redefined in all the subclasses. What are the subclasses? Its subclasses are Valentine, birthday, and holiday. So let us take, for example, the class holiday. So the class holiday will redefine the greeting method, something like this. So this is how the class holiday is written. Class holiday extends core. It is a subclass of the class core, and then we are writing the constructor, which takes a string argument, and that string is assigned to recipient, and then we are redefining the greeting method. Dear recipient, so and so, she sends greetings. Okay. Similarly, we will write the code for birthday class, and also the code for Valentine class. Okay. So let me show you that code. Right. So this is the class, abstract class code. It has two variables, string recipient and an abstract method. And we have a class Valentine, and it has a constructor, and here we are redefining this greeting method, something like this. Hey recipient, Valentine greeting. Okay. And this is a class birthday, similar like how we did for holiday, like how Valentine, like how Valentine extended the features from the class card and redefined greeting. Similarly, the class birthday also extending feature from the class card, and it is redefining the greeting method. Here we are defining the constructor and initializing the recipient, and the constructor is redefined something like this. Hey recipient, birthday greeting. The same way we are writing for the holiday class also. Class holiday extends core, write the constructor, redefine the greeting method, hey recipient, holiday greeting. Okay. Followed by this, we are writing the class car demo. We are writing the class car demo. Here we are writing the main method, and as we already discussed, an abstract class, for an abstract class you cannot create an object, or you cannot instantiate an object, but you can create a reference. So here we are creating a reference for car, that is CD, and then we are creating three objects for each of the class Valentine, birthday, and holiday. Now what we are doing is here, this is a new thing which we are doing. CD is equal to V. CD is a reference of the class code. The CD is assigned to V, where V is an object of the class Valentine. So there is a concept in Java which says that a superclass reference can point to as object. So CD is nothing but what? So in our case, CD is a superclass reference. CD is a superclass reference. What is the superclass? What is the superclass? Code. And V is a subclass object. V is a subclass object. What is the subclass? What's the subclass? The subclass is Valentine. So this is legal. So you can write something like this. CD is equal to V. So it means that now it is pointing to the object V. So CD dot greeting is equivalent to calling V dot greeting. So it will display hey ABC Valentine greeting. Similarly, next we are making CD to point to BD. BD is a birthday object. And now we are calling CD.greeting. So it will call the greeting of corresponding to birthday class. So it will display hey birthday greeting. Next we are making CD to point to HD. HD is a holiday object. So now CD is pointing to HD. So when you say CD.greeting, it will say, it will call the greeting method corresponding to holiday with the name ZZZ. So it will say, hey ZZZ, holiday greeting. Okay. So like that, without creating and name the object. All these are named objects. The name of the object is V. The name of this object is B. The name of this object is HD. Without creating a named object also you can write. For example, here we are writing directly CD. CD is a reference equal to new birthday. We are directly saying new birthday of IGK. So CD is pointing to an object which is an object of type birthday, and the name is IJK. Now we are calling CD.greeting. CD is referring to this birthday object whose name is IJK. So it will display hey IJK and birthday greeting. Okay. So let me execute this program. So this is inside which folder? If you see, this is inside the folder April 1. So I'll go here. Now I'll say Java C code demo.java. Okay, and Java code demo. So you can see here, first it calls the Valentine greeting, then birthday greeting, then holiday greeting, and again birthday greeting. Okay, so this is how we create what you call abstract class, and this is how we redefine the abstract methods, and this is how abstract classes are accessed by using the superclass reference. Okay. Not everything in an abstract class is abstract. So it is not required that everything of an abstract class should be abstract. An abstract class can also have non-abstract methods. So as the definition says, an abstract class is something which contains at least one abstract method. It should have minimum one abstract method to say that it is an abstract class. Okay. So what are the advantages of abstract class? So basically abstract classes are used to increase the code reusability. And also the code will be in a more organized and in a very structured way. Okay. So here you have to fill up this missing blanks. So how will you write? There is a superclass code which is an abstract class, and this birthday class it should extend from the class code. So what should we write here? Extends code, and here this will be constructed. Is small. Okay, and this is happy what? This is what code? Happy years. Here they are using years, so we can write happy age. So age means if age is 10, so it will say happy 10th birthday. Okay. So in our program we use only one variable, which is recipient. Here they are using two variables, recipient and years, right? So this is the missing thing. Let us check whether it is correct or not. Yeah, it's correct. Okay. So this is the full program which I have shown you already. Okay. So next we'll be discussing something about there is a particular yeah. So this we have already discussed that using a superclass reference variable you can access the subclass object. So that is what is being explained in this particular page. And so this also we know already. For an abstract class, you cannot create an object, you cannot instantiate, but rather what you can do is you can create a reference. Okay. So, so this is correct. Do you think it would be okay to do the following? Card 2 is equal to new holiday. Card 3 is equal to new birthday. Yeah, it's okay. But you cannot say, right, you cannot write card 2 is equal to new card. That you cannot do because you cannot create object for the abstract class. But rather what you can do, you can use the reference of the parent class. Parent class reference can be used. Okay. So here we are doing that only. Card is equal to new Valentine. So card is pointing to now Valentine object. Card 2 is equal to new holiday. Card 2 is pointing to holiday object. Card 3 is pointing to a birthday object. That is fine. But card itself cannot be instantiated directly. You cannot say card is equal to new card. That cannot be done. Do you think the following will work? Card is equal to new Valentine. Card.greeting. Fine. Yeah. Now it is pointing to Valentine. It will call the Valentine greeting. Now it is pointing to holiday, it will call the holiday greeting. Now it will point to birthday, it will call the birthday greeting. Yes, it will work. Yes. Okay. So this concept by which a superclass reference variable can point to a subclass object and which method. So there are many greeting methods. There is a greeting method in the holiday class, there is a greeting method in the Valentine class, there is a greeting method in birthday class. So which greeting method should be called? So that decision depends on where code is pointing. If code is pointing to holiday, it will call the greeting of holiday. If code is pointing to Valentine, it will call the greeting of Valentine. If code is pointing to birthday, it will call the greeting of birthday. So this decision will be made at runtime. This concept is called as runtime polymorphism. Making such decision in runtime is called as runtime polymorphism or dynamic polymorphism. Okay. So another important thing is a superclass reference variable can point to a subclass object, but the reverse is not true. A subclass reference variable cannot point to superclass object. A subclass reference variable cannot point to a superclass object, so that cannot be done. So here you see this example card C. We are creating some references. Card C, birthday B, Valentine B, holiday H. C equal to new Valentine. Is it correct? Yes, because C can point to any object. B is equal to new Valentine. Is it correct? No, it's not correct because B is a reference of birthday. It can be instantiated only with birthday. It cannot be instantiated with Valentine. This is wrong. B is equal to new Valentine. This is correct. Yes, B is a Valentine reference. So obviously it should be instantiated with Valentine class. H is equal to new birthday. This is not correct. H is holiday object. It should be instantiated with birthday. So the second and fourth thing are not correct. Okay. So let us see. Okay. So the first and third are okay. The second and fourth are not correct. Okay. So similarly, here is another example. So let us see this. There is a superclass rodent, and there are two subclasses for rodent, rat and mouse. And further, there are two subclasses for rat, Norway rat and lab rat. And there is one subclass for mouse, that is field mouse. So if you see Norway rat, its superclass is rat and its superclass is rodent. Lab rat, its superclass is rat, and rat superclass is rodent. Field mouse, its superclass is mouse, and the superclass of mouse is rodent. Okay. So here we have three references, one for rodent, one for rat, and one for mouse. Okay. Road is equal to new rat. Road is equal to new rat. Yeah, it is correct. This is okay. It should be okay. Because road is a superclass reference and it is pointing to subclass object. It is okay. Mouse is equal to new rat. Mouse is equal to new rat. This is not possible. Because mouse cannot be mouse is equal to, you can say mouse equal to either new mouse, or you can say MOU is equal to new field mouse. Only that two are possible. It cannot be anything else. So it's not okay. Rat is equal to new rodent. Rat, this is rat. Rat is equal to new rodent. That is not possible. Because rat is a subclass reference. Subclass reference cannot point to superclass. Rat is equal to new field mouse. Rat is no way connected. These two are no way connected. Okay, is neither a superclass nor subclass. Road is equal to new field mouse. Road is object of the road is a reference of the superclass. Road is equal to new field mouse. Yeah, it's okay because road can refer to anything because it's a super mouse reference. Mouse is equal to new rodent. Mouse MOU is equal to new rodent. New rodent. Rodent mouse is a subclass reference. Rodent is a superclass. So this is not possible. So subclass cannot point to superclass. Rat is equal to new lab rat. Rat is equal to new lab rat. It's okay. Rat is a superclass of lab rat. So this is fine. Rat is equal to new mouse. Is not okay. They two are not connected at all. Okay. So this is one typical example which shows like who can instantiate who. Okay. So that is using a superclass reference, you can superclass reference can point to a subclass object, but not the reverse way. Subclass reference cannot point to superclass object. And if two objects are not connected in any way, they cannot be assigned to one another. Okay. So these are the things which we have discussed. We have discussed what is an abstract class. So I think you know an abstract class is a class which contains at least one abstract method. And then we have discussed what is an abstract method. An abstract method is something which is just declared but is not defined. When a class must be declared abstract. If a class contains at least one abstract method, then it should be defined as abstract. What are the advantages of abstract class? It increases the code reusability and it makes the program more organized and structured. And in real time, in real life, if you see, many of the real life features are abstract. Okay, for example, if you take all animals eat, but the way in which they eat may differ from animal to animal. So in generic cases, it is abstract. You cannot instantiate an abstract class. You can only create a reference. You cannot create an object. Okay. So using the reference of a superclass or a parent class, you can access the subclass objects. So this concept of accessing the subclass object using superclass reference is also called as dynamic polymorphism or runtime polymorphism. Because which methods of the subclass to be called, that decision will be made at runtime. So then finally we discussed an example of what type of objects can refer to that. Okay. So let us discuss some more coding. So here is an example which shows that here is an example which shows that object class is the superclass of all class. Okay. So here I'm creating a class Apple. Okay. There is a constructor system.out.println create Apple. And then there is a method public string to string. Actually, we are overriding this method to string. Where it is available in the class object. Return Apple overridden. Okay. How it is overridden? Because it is available in the class object. Okay. So when I write like this, it is equivalent to writing this. So if a class is not extending feature from any other class, then it means that actually it is extending feature from the class object. That is by default, all classes are subclass of the class object. Okay? And then we are creating a class Apple demo. Here we are writing the main method. We are creating an object for the class Apple, and then we are calling the toString method. Right? So let me execute this program. The file name is appledemo.java. C appledemo.java. Java Apple demo. Okay. So the key takeaway from here is that every class is a subclass of the class object. in Java, right? So this program just shows that you can call the constructor of a superclass by using this statement, super. By using super, you can call the constructor of the superclass. So here is a class ABC. There is the constructor which takes a string argument and it just displays it. There is another display method which says this is class ABC. There is another class DEF. This extends ABC, and this is the constructor for DEF. Here, what we are doing is we are calling super of CP1. So this will call its superclass constructor. What is its superclass? ABC. So the string passed is CP1. So it will display constructor of ABC CP1. And then it will display DEF. Right? So here we are writing an AF demo class and the main method, and we are creating an simply we are creating an object for DEF, which will call this constructor, and this in turn will call the superclass constructor. Okay. So this is just to explain the usage of the how using super you can call the superclass constructor. So the file name is AF demo. Let me compile it. Java C afdemo.java, and I'm executing it Java afdemo. Okay, fine. Let us stop with this for today's session, and let us further continue abstract class for one more session.